This week, we're going to be digging into exactly that, how to get more referrals, more introductions. And I think I may have shared with you, I've done inbound marketing now for close to 20 years, which really makes me feel old, by the way. But even in that 20 years, the still majority of my business comes from referrals and introductions. It could be because that's just, it's kind of like when you lose 100 pounds and everybody wants to know how you did it. It's typically how it works. How did you get the kinds of results that you're getting now? Who did you work with? There's a lot of times how my referrals and introductions happen. And one of the things, though, is that I have learned from one of my friends, Joanne Black, who, if you haven't read her book, Pick Up the Damn Phone, that's the one I would recommend to even dig further into how to make a referral strategy something that is proactive for you. She is the queen of referral selling. And one of the things that she says is that everything that we do in promoting and marketing ourselves, whether that's inbound or cold calling or webinars or blogging, whatever the case may be, all of those activities are really the fuel for the engine of our referrals. Because no matter how someone hears about you, they are going to go and look up more about you. Referrals are how trust gets transferred from one person to the next person. For example, a lot of people have been asking me lately, how did I get into Harvard Business School? Like there's some magical sequence that I used to be able to get their attention, which was not at all the case. Actually, it was a referral. Someone I knew mentioned me to the professors that were working there, and I was invited in. There was no way I could have cold called or emailed my way into that because I didn't even know that the opportunity existed yet. I wasn't famous and I was still somewhat new in my coaching practice. And so the only way that that was going to happen is by a warm introduction and a referral. And it can work the same way in our businesses. Now, none of that mattered. None of what I was doing before mattered because of the referral. In fact, there's research that suggests our messaging matters very little when we're introduced in, because it's that referral of trust that happens between one person and the next, that the messaging, getting everything exactly right, doesn't matter nearly as much. Not only that, but when we get referrals and introductions, studies show that we get an average of 16% higher order values. Again, because of that transfer of trust and that warm introduction. So 90% of my business comes from referrals and introductions. Crazy, I know. What about your business? How much of that is coming from referrals and introductions right now? It is a little bit harder when you're starting off new because you feel like a lot of people don't know you, or maybe you don't have the credibility yet. However, it's possible that it's sometimes our belief system about asking for referrals that gets in the way. Why is it that and I'm guilty of this myself from time to time, where I'm not asking and being proactive enough about asking for referrals? Why do you think that is? Why don't we incline ourselves to be proactive and ask for those kinds of referrals? I know for myself, I resisted asking for referrals and for introductions. One is I didn't want to feel like I was putting people out or taking up their time. The other was, what if they say no? That's an even heavier blow. But then the other part of it was, for me, if I'm successful, I shouldn't have to ask. If I'm doing awesome work, people will just naturally want to tell everybody about me. And so I focused so much on going above and beyond and bending over backwards and probably doing more than I was getting paid for, because I was hoping that they would say how awesome I was doing and that they couldn't wait to refer me to other people. But they didn't, because most people only think about the things that they want and the things that they need and the things that are in front of them. And it's the reason we don't ask is that we somehow think that it makes us appear less successful or weaker or putting people out.